One moment, please, while I get my coffee. I had to try to repost these kitties again because apparently the kitties didn't come out so well. So I'm gonna have to repost it again, and I'm gonna say some more stuff because if some people didn't agree that energy proves God, well, I'm just gonna say everything proves God. Hold on a minute. Yeah, my coffee's almost ready. Yeah, every physical thing is a result of a supernatural cause because no physical thing can ever make or order itself because everything's made by energy to begin with. And of course, every living organism is made by instructions, written instructions, a copy of written instructions, and they can't be anything other than what the copy says that they're going to be. Of course, there's variations of the same information, which has slightly different outcomes, but it's always going to be variations of that same information. You know, scientists could have told you this, but I guess they were just lazy. You know, the secular quote-unquote scientists that feed you all kind of nonsense, like acquiring vast amounts of programming that's not there in order for one kind to morph into another kind, into another kind, into another kind, into another kind. Vast amounts of information that's not there in the original kind for it to become another kind. You know, it's just total nonsense. Absolute rubbish. You know, you see these kitties, they're copies of other kitties. You know, they can't be anything else. Errors in the copying is not going to write vast amounts of instruction for it to be anything else. It's just going to make different colors of kitties, different designs. Of course, that's the way it was designed to begin with. I mean, we weren't designed as clones to be clones. We were designed as individuals to be individuals, to be unique. But we're never anything other than human. We're ordered and directed to be humans. Still skipping frames. I don't know. Maybe it's the kitty videos that are making it skip the frames. Blame it on the kitties. I think I'm going to have to put them to sleep here. I mean, not put them to sleep. I mean, make them go to bed. There you go. Go to sleep, not be put to sleep. Yeah, I don't want to put the kitties to sleep. They were just born. We just got here. Actually, they're all probably grown up now by now anyway. Anyway, so they weren't put to sleep. Don't worry. So yeah, everything, every physical thing, every object, everything that's anything proves God. Because nothing, no thing can make itself. No thing can produce itself. Everything has to be made by an infinite potential of course, wisdom, understanding, and all kind of stuff, you know. Everything, including the earth that we live on. Everything. Everything has a supernatural origin. Nothing has a physical origin because the physical is the result of infinite potential, because it can't be the result of less and less energy making more and more energy. That doesn't exist. It's against the laws of science for a small amount of energy to make more energy. Everything is top down. Information is top down. Energy is top down. Energy has to be from an infinite potential, because it can't make itself. It can't order itself. It has to be from an infinite potential, along with wisdom, understanding, and counsel and strength, and power. And the way everything is put together, everything's put together with a purpose, intent and purpose. That's what everything shows. Of course, you can deny it all you want. You can deny the intent and purpose. You can say it's not there when it clearly is there. You can say the written instruction is not there when it clearly is there. You can say the commands aren't there when the commands are there. You can see the kitties, they're the result of the commands to make a kitty. That's, it's basic logic. And of course, they somehow figured that out, even without DNA, without science, today's science, without knowing everything we know, quote unquote knowing everything we know. They knew that there is a God over all, the God of gods, the King of kings, Lord of lords, the God that everything comes from. There was even a verse, lots of verses that you read. There's lots of verses that show that God made everything. God made everything, is the maker of everything. For the gods of the people are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Okay, the Lord made everything. In 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and the sea and all that's in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Okay. For thus says the Lord, He who created the heavens, He is God. He formed the earth, fashioned it, He established it. He did not create it to be empty, but formed it to be habited. I am the Lord, and there is no other. See, it's all logical, rational, and reasonable, and a straight line of progression. It's not circular reasoning. It's a straight line of evidence. Thus says the Lord, He who created heavens and stretched them out, He who spread out the earth and its offspring, He who gives breath to the people on it and life to those who walk in it. It's logical, rational, reasonable, understandable. Do you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been declared to you from the beginning? Have you not understood since the foundations of the earth, since the earth was made? Of course, this is a really good passage, though. He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth. Its dwellers are like grasshoppers. He stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to live in. It's like my father always said. My father's an electrical engineer who worked for RCA many, many years. I mean, not many, many years ago, not many, many years. But he became a missionary. And that's why I'm from Brazil. And he would always say, whenever man does these great feats like going to the moon, he quotes this verse. He sits enthroned above the circle of the earth. Its dwellers are like grasshoppers. Boink, boink, boink. It's like we're nothing compared to the power of God, to the greatness of God. And He's showing us in the universe, by way of the universe, His great power. Because everything is the result of His power, infinite potential. His understanding is unsearchable. Okay. Well, I guess the frames are still skipping. It must be the kitty cats that are messing up the frames. I don't know. I'm going to have to try something else. Let me try something else. Hold on. See if this works. Oops. It's making a lot of noise. No, it's not making noise. A little bit of noise. So, yeah. Everything is proof of God. Everything. Everything is proof of God. Nothing can make itself. That's why you got people like Lawrence Krauss saying that everything came from nothing, because he doesn't have anything relevant or valid to say. Anything, he doesn't have anything of substance to say. So he says everything comes from nothing. He says something really off the wall and baseless. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and void. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the water. Okay, that's I went through that earlier. That's very, very significant information. It says, the God who made the world and everything in it, the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples made by human hands. So, the real God is above all other gods. Everything gets its power from God. Every power gets its power from God, whether it's lightning, whether it's thunder, whether it's a volcano, whether it's Zeus, whether it's Thor, whether it's a pharaoh, a king, whether it's King Nebuchadnezzar. He gets his power from God. His power comes from God. All power comes from God. And there's a verse that says that too. You know, if you only read if you want to be a scientist, you have to read the Bible, because the Bible will give you a good foundation and basis for knowing what the truth is, for knowing what the facts are. And if you don't have the basis, the foundation of basically the foundation of the world, the history of the world, the record of creation, then you don't know anything. You can't know anything. You can't understand anything, because you don't know that there's a maker of everything there is. You don't know that it was infinite potential that made everything. Infinite possibilities are not the realm of limited time and space. Infinite possibilities are the realm of the infinite potential, which is the realm of God, because God is defined as the infinite potential in every way. In the beginning you laid the foundations of the earth, and the heavens are your work, the work of your hands. It's over and over and over again. It says the same thing, that God is the God over all, the God of gods, who made heaven and earth, who made all the elements, and that there is no power that's not from Him. Be it gravity, particles, all power is from God. It's not hard to understand. Everything fits together when you have the foundation of learning, which is history itself, human history, the history of the earth, and the biblical history, which is history of mankind. Going all the way back to the beginning, if you don't understand that you have a maker, you're not going to understand anything in science. It's not going to make sense to you. You'll be looking at math equations that all come out to infinity, and you'll be saying, oh, something's wrong with this. It comes out to infinity every time. No, there's nothing wrong with the equation. There's something wrong with your thinking and your foundational beliefs. That of course everything's going to arrive at infinity, because that's where everything comes from, is infinity, infinite potential, an infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful maker of everything there is. It's not complicated. Okay. So all the people that are questioning me on everything, none of them showed up. So none of them showed up. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna have to declare victory that they that they were afraid to show up because they probably didn't have anything to say anyway. Of course, I'm being facetious, but anyway. But I would win the discussion anyway, because there's nothing any atheist has to say about anything. So, with that, I hope everybody has all the wisdom and understanding and knowledge and power from the Lord to do everything that He says we're able to do. Hello, Jesus is Lord, everything and everyone. Yeah, everything proves God. Everything that exists. It's evidence of God. It's proof of God. Absolute proof. Because you can't have anything making itself. Everything has to come from something else, which comes from something else and something else. Not lesser and lesser, but greater and greater, until you arrive at infinite potential. There you have your proof of God. It's not complicated. Okay. If anybody wants to have a discussion, I'll just go ahead and click the Skype thing, and we'll see if we can hook this up and get us going, get a conversation going with, or maybe get some atheists or somebody to discuss, to prove their object credit giving belief, to prove that matter made itself and made their mom and dad, which is absurd.